then there's other texts that reference and corroborate with, like, the style of the writing doesn't match second century Christian theology and their mindset. And so I think it's all textual and style and references within the text. And then, like, I think archaeological evidence corroborates with the textual evidence, but I don't think there's obviously there's not original manuscripts, and there's not archaeological evidence of Paul's signature or something.
So we have text, not even quite textual evidence, just kind of assumptions.
Wait, I thought I said there was textual evidence.
My apologies, which textual evidence?
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head, but it has something to do with, I think it has something to do with identifying the correct time frame of a ruler, and then archaeological evidence corroborating with it. And then stylistic evidence that a Christian who was forging it later would have had a different style than the one that Paul had in the letters that there's consensus that he wrote.
Have you heard of the stylometric analyses that show most of Paul's letters to be forgeries? And that nearly all of them are written by different authors.
I don't think
Oh, you cut out there. I don't know if it was my end or yours.
Oh, sorry. The pastoral ones were
Oh yeah, we're losing everything you're saying.
Is this better? Let's see.
Seems to be for the moment. It was the signal cut now.
Okay. So I know that 1st and 2nd Timothy and Philemon, the pastoral letters, are thought to be forgeries by, it's like 60-40, maybe. And I know that I don't think most people think he wrote Hebrews, but I haven't heard much about that.
There's another creator on this app. His name is Christ Before Jesus. He's got a book by the same name, and he does lives during the day on this topic. And I think you would do really well there.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. I think you would do really well there. I think it would be an interesting discussion to see. He has run stylometric analysis on the letters of Paul, and has some evidence and reason to support his findings that he would be much better at presenting than me.
Okay, cool.
So,
okay.
Yeah, definitely Christ Before Jesus.
Yeah,
look for him
on YouTube
during the day.
Okay, cool. Yeah, another guy on YouTube is really big on evidence against it. I read a commentary that was really cool about the pastoral epistles. I am a lazy student, so I about 80% or less what I read, and I don't read as. Yeah.
I'm losing every other word, Mythic. I think your signal's cut.
Man, I can head up. I think this.
Yeah, this has been a great conversation. I appreciate you. I think we could absolutely try to pick up another time. And don't be surprised if I ask you some of the same first questions to jog my memory. But I do appreciate you, Mythic, and I hope that you keep asking questions. Take care.
Hey, appreciate you right back. But I give you a follow. Yeah.
Great. Look forward to talking to you again. We can get some W's in the chat for Mythic. There was some questioning happening there. He's got some research to do, and I hope he gets to talk to Jaren at some point. That would be really interesting to see. Hope he asks him about the idea that Paul might not have existed. I'd like to see where that goes. Okay, I gotta try not to kick the laptop over again, but we do have the YouTube up and running for the moment. I hope. Thank you guys for getting us up near 10,000. We're at 9.8 thousand likes. Thank you all for tapping the screen. Everybody for sharing the live if you haven't already. You can go to the bent little arrow down there at the bottom corner, right corner of your screen, and you can add to your story, or you can repost, or you can just send it to a few friends who might enjoy questioning their beliefs or seeing others question. And if you have a belief in a god or gods, a higher power, or anything like that, and you're capable of questioning that belief, then go ahead and request on up. I'm not here to debate or argue. I'm not looking to tear you down or burgle your gods. I just want to know if you can question, then what is it that you believe, and why do you believe it?
Hello.
Hello, Chimpu. It's been a while. Can you remind me
Yeah,
your age for TikTok TOS?
yeah, it has really been a while. I'm 24.
And do you have a belief in a god or gods, a higher power, or anything like that?
Yeah, that is a good question. Um, I actually wanted to speak about a certain about going to church and receiving blessing from your like. I was brought up Christian. I'm agnostic actually, but I'm still like practicing, singing along, going to service. And I don't know, like when I go there, I feel good, and when the pastor puts her hands on me, it makes me feel good, and I have the belief that yeah, somehow, I don't know, it's like this blessing can enhance anything, or rather I have the hope that it enhances anything in my life, like gives me strength, gives me trust to for the challenges in my life, and so on.
So you're an agnostic, you still attend church, but you
Yeah,
feel that when the pastor gives you their blessing,
yeah.
it gives you hope and some kind of comfort.
Yeah.
Is the comfort because it is from the pastor and you respect them?
Could be.
Does it matter if it's any pastor?
Like, I would not like that so much from a stranger. Like, I like it better with like I trust it more with the pastor that I know, and I know that, for example, she's following like a God that is loving and respecting everyone. Like for example, there's a lot of queer people in the community. That's very important for me to be in community.
Is it because this pastor or group of pastors are from a particular church that you feel community with?
Yeah, like it is the church actually I was brought up in. It's the German Protestant State Church. So I really like have comfort and trust that like they have a like moral compass, and that they're not using God to justify something that is not, that is like inhuman or something. And I think if there is God, then like that's how you can build a valid channel to like feel connected with that God, higher power, or whatever, because that is the condition. Like, I mean, maybe I'm just comforting myself. That could well be, but if then, why not be in community where you feel safe and like you have nothing to lose there?
Does it matter if that community is devoted to God or not? Is that just the one that you've found comfort in?
Like actually, I've been like I have done a research project on a community that has more or less left the word God. Like they're called Unitarians, like free religious Unitarians, and they are calling it rather the unity of being, or the kind of humility before the unknown power of life, something like this. I also think that depending on my context and surrounding, I could find community with them as well, because I find it very like appealing what they say, and they speak a lot about philosophy, Greek philosophy in service, about how, like what it's like to be human and not knowing what it's all about, the secret of life. Like, but it's like more. Yeah, I was brought up with Christianity, and it's like the community is one on my campus, so and it's also like it's aimed at students, and I'm a student, so yeah, it's like more accessible for me. And I also have kind of logic. I believe in like some kind of fate or whatever. Like I have sometimes the feeling it like
Fate.
something leads me where I should go and where to go, and like it all is happening like a story. And yeah.
Is it always happening like a story, or just sometimes it seems that way?
I mean, I think you can connect all details in my life into a story, probably.
Every detail.
Yeah.
Every morning you wake up and brush your teeth.
Like
That could
sometimes
be...
I forget it.
That's
Because
what
I
I
have
mean. You could take
ADHD.
those little details and you can make a whole story out of that. But
Yeah.
does that mean that it is being organized as a story, that it's intended that way? Or is that just how you're perceiving it?
Yeah, there's a nice chapter of like the author Leslie Hazelton in her book Agnostic: A Spirited Manifesto, where she talks about like making meaning, and then she talks about a woman who reports that orca whales were singing to her at the coast, like what it is all about, like that you say, they were singing to me. You tend to make yourself like the center of the universe, because like that's like what you have or what you can feel, what you can see. You look for meaning everywhere and you interpret it like according to your yeah, you know what I mean, right? I I yeah, of course it could be all make believe, but kind of like a little part of me thinks it could be something more.
Do you want it to be something more?
Do I want it to be something more? That is a good question. Like when I was like 15, I would have said, like, to me it really does not matter, but like I don't know, like for example, I lost my best friend 2 years ago, and yeah, I would really love to be reunited with her, to be honest. Like I accept when death is like the natural end and there's nothing after it. It's a beautiful concept, and also I can accept it, but I think I would like it more if there would be any kind of sort of, I don't know, going on, like next life, afterlife, paradise, whatever. Just something exciting waiting for us, maybe.
Would you want that next life to be eternal or also limited like this one?
Like it's hard to imagine happiness in eternal life. That's what I always think. Like, how could I be happy when I know something is eternal? Like, because when something is eternal, it quickly becomes meaningless. So, like with the concepts I have now, I think it would be nicer to have a limited life again, but maybe it will surprise me and I will get to know how happiness can be found even in eternity.
Do you think you would, do you think you would want the option before an end if it was eternal and eternally boring?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think it should be reward and punishment based? Do you think evil should get the same reward?
That is a good question, because like that is like one of the beliefs that I was brought up with and I failed to deconstruct. I can think rationally of alternatives, but I was taught so by my dad that everyone will get the same after their death, like everyone will go to paradise, he taught me. And even if I can't think like rationally of a concept of punishment or hell, like it does not get into the probability section into my mind. Like it is not a viable thought for me. So no, I cannot seriously think of a punishment concept in any way. I can like theoretically think of it, but not really like put my trust on it.
Mm. What do you think would convince you that a God exists?
That is a really good question. Like I would not like I wouldn't want to know actually this God that reveals, because every revealing is kind of a violent act to take the freedom away to make up one's own mind. So like a God that reveals himself is basically like is not to be taken really seriously, because that is just like a king. Like, oh, I'm like when it's made obvious that God is there, then of course you will be in total awe and shock and fear, and that would be horrible, I think. So what would made me like, actually I think God is more kind of a language game. Like you can see the world and see God in it, or you can take the God glasses off and not see God, and then you put it on and you put it off, and like God is there, but atheists just like they don't have a word for it. For example, like people living at the North Pole, they have 20 words for snow. Like I don't have 20 words for snow. I cannot see the different snows. And just like theists, they see God there where atheists see nothing.
And what are you seeing?
Like I've been talking to an imaginary friend God like all my life, having joking conversations. Like, what is life? What is the world? What, like, this kind of stuff. Like, personal God, kind of, in my mind. So, kind of, this, like, you can't say imaginary friend. Maybe I have, yeah. But not really on, like, that I would defend their existence. Like, for example, like Luther said, God is whatever you put your heart to. Like, you can, he did not mean it like I understand. So I take him out of context, and I'm just thinking that, like, whatever, like, gives meaning to your life, or whatever is there, you call that, like, has like any meaning beyond the things you see. It's kind of a God you create yourself. Like, for example, my grandfather always equaled God with love. Like, for that, like, it was synonymous for.
But for you, it's been an imaginary friend that you laugh and joke with.
Yeah, like, I mean, if God created, kind of,
Is it
or
not
programmed me, then
is it not just another part of your mind?
yeah, but if God created mine, then he could also put themselves, or like not he, like they could also put themselves in there. Like, it's kind of Descartes thought, like I putting the God in the thought of man. Of course, like that's kind of circular thinking, but yeah.
Do you want there to be a God?
I think so. I think so.
Hmm.
But I want something to be there I can channel my gratitude onto for all the experiences I am gifted for this journey on this earth. Like, I don't know, I could like go pagan and thank nature, whatever. Like I like something I saw on social media, like people were joking around about yeah, like it's something bad that we worship the trees. At least trees were real.
Hmm. Would you want to worship a god if it existed?
Yeah, like I would want to, like I'm doing it, like
You're
I'm
worshiping one even though you don't know it exists.
yeah, it's because I sing the songs along in the service, you know, like it's all about like it's not so falling blindly, because there's like this liberal church I'm in and they say, oh, see this song, it could be sung by everyone, it could be sung by any religion. They are like really like inclusive and thinking of like the people that maybe just come here out of comfort and not really believe. They are having these people in mind as well. So and I like that. So, and it's just, yeah, it's just an aesthetic, you know.
An
Nice
aesthetic, yeah.
there are nice songs, you know. They're really nice. Like even some even some of the evangelical songs, they are bangers, you know. You can
Do you believe in the Jesus story?
The Jesus story. I really I love Jesus Christ Superstar. Do you know Jesus Christ Superstar? Have you seen it?
I'm familiar with it.
Like, have you seen the musical performed or the movie?
I I haven't seen the whole musical. I have seen a lot of the songs
Yeah,
performed, and I know most of
yeah,
the
I
way
see.
it's told.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know, like sometimes in the past, like I would read the Bible and not really feel connected, or my father would read the Bible to me and like, oh yeah, and saying, oh, Jesus is a role model, be non-violent. Like I was like, my sister was beating me, and like then I said to my father, oh, I have to beat her back, and he said like, oh no, Jesus did not do that. Like, so he was that kind of like educational ideal. That's when I had not made my mind really up, like about, like it was just like I was not thinking about the question it was real or not, but it was just this moral figure. Then when I was Jesus Christ Superstar, like I started questioning, because like Judas is really questioning the leadership here. Judas is like a, the most interesting person in the musical, because he criticizes Jesus, because he is saying he's arrogant, he's making mistakes, he's enjoying the worship of the light points. And I really like, I learned the lyrics of every song, and then I like became interested in the history of the Bible, and I educated myself more in school and so on. And I just think like maybe Jesus had a really good PR team, and they made all the stories up to give people hope under colonial rule. Like they made a movement to disrupt the colonial, like people were following the Jesus movement, like they left the fields, like it's kind of a boycott, financially boycotting, not working anymore. So I see it on a very practical level, and I don't have like I don't have much space left for this, like I am the truth, I am the what, like that does not really get to me. Like, what is I am the truth? Like, yeah. But there are like the stories about like that are in the Bible. You can find interesting things there, and I think you should interpret them like literature. For example, in second grade, I was taught like maybe the Bible can like Bible is fictional, but maybe it contains a grain of truth. So like you can think about the symbolical stories of Jesus, you can learn from it, but yeah, I really don't care much about the question like, did Jesus really exist? Is like I care about the question, is he God? Is he not God? I think it's like interesting to get into this discussion, but personally for me it's not so relevant because I cannot I cannot get behind it. Maybe he was just a man, maybe he was doing evil things, maybe he was misusing his power, maybe Judas' critique was valid. I don't know. Yeah. Does this answer your question?
Quite well, quite thoroughly. But you believe Jesus then existed, at least.
I
There was
find it
someone there.
very likely. Like, I'm not like 100% sure, but we also like I had one seminar about historical Jesus at university. I learned about like we discussed it in school. What is the historical evidence for Jesus? I also listened like to that Tacitus conversation you had before, and I really like have to again get into it because we were also taught in school that like this is strong evidence for the existence of historical Jesus. And also one other source I don't remember quite about like the cousin of Jesus. So yeah, like I mean they were like the people resisting against Rome, like in the underground. They must have had found get their inspiration somewhere, you know. If it was not Jesus, then it was somebody else teaching,
Could it have been?
spreading.
Could it have been a group of different people's stories put together as one?
Yeah, of course, it could have been. I think I would say that's very likely because like when it's orally transmitted, that like people would mix things up all the time and say, that was this guy, they did that, this guy, maybe I'm telling it was this guy because it fits the picture, and I'm adapting a few details because it fits the picture. So I'm thinking about generally of the Bible as more like it's a documentation of how humans deal with the question of the divine. So we can like the stories can be valuable for us because we know that they were created in moments where people were thinking about the divine. So reading scripture how leads us to have insight how people conceptualize the divine in the past. And I think that is valuable for us because we are limited to our modern time frames, like our thinking today, and it can expand our scope if we see, this is what people thought of the divine in that day. So we can have a larger scope for truth in that sense.
Do you think that one of the messages that the Bible also conveys about how humans question or answer the question of the divine is to control each other, to demand certain behaviors of each other.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, that's also part of it. Definitely, there were people deliberately like spreading things that would benefit their like standing, their power, their beliefs. Um, so like for example, like in the class about the historical Jesus, I've told you about like we were taught some criteria about like how could we find out if a biblical verse was legit or not. Like of course not 100%, but there were some strong like there would, if you know, for example, there would not be a reason for a later Christian to put that in there, then most probably it was not put in there because it would not have fit into their agenda. Like there are criteria like this where people go, okay, this is more authentic, and this is rather because of a certain ideology or something like this.
If the Bible answers that question with controlling people and telling them to take on certain behaviors, to treat certain members of society differently, then
Which members are you referring to?
women.
Yeah, okay. But there is nothing really like in the New Testament. There is only debated about a lot and deconstructed a lot in theology. So like in Germany where I am, like feminist theology is very strong. So there
So,
is like
Paul added the
pastors
things
calling
against
God
women.
she and so on.
So Paul added the things that,
Or like you were having discussion
women.
before about Paul, if Paul even existed or not. Like I don't really care, to be honest. I have not read Paul, so.
Was it Paul though that made Jesus' message for everyone?
Sorry, I was just distracted by a comment. I need to ban the host. He is useless.
Oh,
Okay, sorry.
Thank you, Kane. Thank you, Kane, so
Sorry.
much.
Yeah, what was your question again?
Wasn't it Paul that made the message of Christianity for everyone? Rather than, as Jesus had said, he just came for the lost sheep of Israel.
Yeah, I definitely should get more into that. Maybe when I study sometimes the Bible again. Right now I'm more studying Quran. So
That's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be fun. Yeah. So yeah, of course I think there's of course relevance of Paul to Christianity and the spreading of Christianity, yeah. But like I don't think like anything he said about like rules of society or like gender norms is like these parts are not really relevant because it was historical. So
I feel a rabbit trail coming on, but why are you studying the Quran?
because I'm doing a master in Islamic theology.
Islamic theology. Why?
Yeah. Because I love the Arabic language, It is just like I cannot speak it, but I've studied to translate it, and there is amazing literature that is understudied so much. And also I think it's really important to talk about hermeneutics and the understanding of scripture and making it public. And in my university, they have a focus on digital media, Islamic digital media, and like try to develop strategies how like to go against this simplified understanding of scripture, of Quran, about hadith, and they yeah, I think it's really important because right now the youth is sitting at homes, like going on TikTok, learning about religion from any kind of authority. So it's really important you build alternatives to that. I think it's really important for everyone to get religious education, and yeah, especially about the Quran. There's a lot of misconception going on, a lot of like false claim that, oh yeah, the Quran is 100% understandable and applicable to our times. That is actually very modern understanding of uniformity that was created partly as a reaction to colonialism by Islamic countries, and we need to try to bring back the classical tradition of Islamic scholarship of that was full of ambiguity, of discussions, of questioning, like so there are many concepts in the Islamic classical discussions we need to bring back. For example, the discussion about ijtihad and taqlid, like making up your own mind, understanding the scripture for yourself, or taqlid, the blind following of authority.
I have a friend in the comments. I think it would be fascinating to listen to the two of you have a conversation about that topic. Tavium down there.
Tavium.
Yep. There he is.
I see him.
Hello.
Hello.
Someone.
Hello, Tavium. Heard your name. You were just waiting. Your finger was over the button as soon as she brought up the Quran.
Actually, I was doing the dishes until I heard the Quran. I was like, what? But yeah. Hello. You studying the Quran?
Yes, like I'm not have come so far yet, but because I'm stuck with like side quests, but yeah, I'm studying the Quran.
What interests you in the Quran specifically? Like I heard about the whole religious teaching and stuff, but I'm wondering why specifically the Quran? Why not the Bible for anything?
Yeah, that's because of the poetic quality of it. Like, I think the recitation like process is really interesting. It's very captivating and aesthetic, and had played also a role during, I think, missioning, like missionary, like people were just like, yeah, it was so impressed by the beauty of sound and like the poetic quality.
You mean tajweed?
Yeah, tajweed.
When they sing it, right?
Yeah. So that is a really interesting aspect. And yeah, it's like, it's not like a storybook like the Bible. It's like it's explaining you everything, but the Quran, it's like a riddle. The professor in our Quranic studies at the university, it says like Quran is like you observed a person on the phone and you just got one side of the talking on the phone. You don't hear the other side, because Quran is like a dialogue, a conversation. It's very contextual. So if you don't try to reconstruct what the reactions of the first Muslims were to the or not the first Muslims, the original community. Like when you don't try to reconstruct that, you will miss half of the conversation, and that was really important. And I think it's like more interesting kind of than the Bible, because the Bible will tell you every fucking detail about names and
Yeah, the full
rules
story.
and yeah.
Yeah, I get that. We have problems with that here when we're
Yeah.
trying to understand the text ourselves. See, I'm an
Yeah.
Arab Muslim. I was born in an Arab family. I'm still in an Arab country right
Yeah.
now. Most of the time when we try to read the Quran, we have like a lot of problems because first, the Arabic is way too ancient. We don't get
Yeah.
it. It's
Yeah.
like Proto-Arabic. And then the text is like, yeah, it is speaking to specific people in that time. So it's
Yeah.
very hard to understand if you don't
Yeah,
get
yeah.
the context of the time.
Yeah.
There's also the verses that are just randomly inserted in there. Random letters scattered around. Like the first verse of the second surah,
Yeah.
Alif Lam Mim, that
Alif
means
Lam Mim.
nothing.
Yeah. It would not say it means nothing. You don't know what it means. Like it is lost. The meaning is like forgotten.
Yes. Yeah. I think I think he was a Syrian friend of mine said that these have translations in Assyrian, but they can't. But he's not good at Assyrian, so he can't really give it to me. His grandfather though translated them. Like the Alif Lam Mim ones means I was told by the God of everything. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه. That book has no doubt. So it would make sense in that way. But yeah, to us right now, the Arab people right now, we don't get any of it. But yeah, I understand. There's also the context of the hadith. You have to pull like millions of hadiths and go through them to get the context of this specific verse. So that was...
Yeah. Like, but it's so hard, I think, like, because there are so many, like I have not, like, I'm just starting a bit to get into hadith. Like, it's
You're gonna go through them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a tip, because that helped me a lot. The books will never gonna fucking help you. You're gonna go to a website called sunnah.com. You can search a keyword and it'll pop up to you.
Yeah.
The books are...
Yeah. I also plan some systematic search because the books are endless, I know. And you like my boyfriend, he is Muslim, but he's a Quranist. He rejects all hadith because I am he says you can find everything in there. Everything will contradict itself at one point. So he's rejecting them all, but I argue against him because I come from the Islamic theology that says like you cannot have the Quran without the Sunnah. You cannot like it is not like, because many things like were practiced and then criticized by the Quran. Like the Sunnah is part of the conversation that is documented in the Quran, and Hadith gives not like 100% sure things, but it gives hints about what was practiced and what should be practiced. So it is better than nothing we had, and we needed to understand the Quran with the what is, like, I have the German word now, like the asbab and nusul and so on. The reasons for a revelation of a verse like that were directed to the community, because the community dealt with problems, and then specific verses were addressing these problems. And today, if we don't know about these problems, we cannot say anything about the Quranic verse.
There is a very useful resources for this. You know, Jamiat al-Azhar, the Egyptian one, the Islamic. They have a lot of like most of their PhD doctorates, whatever the word is. Most of them are analyzing these stuff. So one of the few ones I've read last year was talking about how much of the verses actually need the context, the sort of context, and how much needed the context in the hadiths.
What can you say it again?
Jamiat al-Azhar, the College of Al-Azhar.
Okay.
So I believe, if I remember correctly, around 28 to 27% of the verses needed the historical context,
Yeah.
and around 38 to 45% needed the hadith as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it. So also,
That
there's an
checks
inside joke.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it needs it. I just wanted to tell you this because of your partner, what you said about your partner. I completely agree with him. There's an inside joke between me and my friend that the hadiths are the original Hegelian dialect. The thesis and antithesis and the thesis.
Yeah, like he would like that joke as well, I think. But like my Quranic professor, he was telling us, he was even Quranist at one time because he was so fed up with hadith, but then he realized like, okay, no, I'm dependent. As a Quranic professor, I'm dependent on hadith. I need them to understand my stuff. Yeah.
Hold on, is he Hamid Abdul Samad? Is he called Hamid Abdul Samad?
No, he's in Germany.
Yeah, he's in Germany. He's a German.
I mean,
yeah, he's amazing. You should watch his.
Hamid Abdul Samad.
Hamid Abdul Samad. I'll write it in the chat.
Hamid Abdul. Yeah. Just write it in the chat now. Like no, the professor is from like us. So yeah.
Omar Al.
Hamid.
I think he's.
Samad.
Yeah, I think he's teaching in Germany as well. He has one of the most influential books I had in my life. It's called The Islamofascism, I think.
Okay, interesting.
That's a really good book.
Okay.
Yeah. I would recommend getting in contact with him because he's in Germany. He can help you study a lot of it. He originally was a Muslim. He was born in Egypt. Then he left Islam and went to Germany. Started teaching.
So he's atheist now, or?
Yeah, he's an ex-Muslim. He's an agnostic.
Agnostic. Okay, nice. Yeah. But you also can hold these two labels at the same time. You know, I know a Muslim theologian. He considers himself agnostic Muslim. I like that as well. Like, you don't have to leave your religion behind to be agnostic. You just can say, okay, I'm shaped by this religion, but I'm agnostic about it. Yeah. Because,
yes, I agree. There is a whole sect built on that. Have you heard of the Mu'tazila before?
Yeah, I know.
I think one of the first. To doubt is to be a Muslim, or to doubt is to be a believer.
I have to get more into discussions, but I have read about that. Like, for example, it's a very interesting. Like, I have read about Arazi and combining the Mu'tazila and Ash'ari thinking about like ethical, why should humans do good? It is really interesting, but yeah.
I think that Razi was the first one who said there's no free will because God creates your will. Therefore, whatever you do is of God and not you.
Really?
I think Mu'tazila also answered him. Yeah.
Okay.
Fakhruddin Razi, correct?
Yeah. Okay. Fakhruddin Razi. Yeah, I'm talking about him also. Interesting, because actually from his argument, I did not quite get that because maybe he was also shifting. I don't know, but
he started his life.
Yeah, he was actually like making a this argument. We also know from Kant, it's good for you to do good because it's good for you to be in a functioning society and to contribute to that functioning society, and also you are often shaped by the morality of the people around you about the you just following what the other people do because you copy it, you learn it, and that's how the norms come, and not necessarily everything comes from God or revelation. This kind of things I remember, but yeah.
Yes. Also, there is another inside joke, but this one's between all of the Arab-speaking ex-Muslims. We call Razi the Imam of skeptics.
Oh,
because he was
nice.
This one. Yeah. One of the things, speaking about ethics again, one of the things he was known for, he said that, I'm sorry, my neighbor is doing some renovation. If you hear some noise, just tell me, I'll mute.
No problem, yeah.
One of the things he said was, you can't follow divine command because basically Euthyphro's dilemma, but in an Islamic sense. So basically, if God commands what's good, separate of God, independent of God, you don't have to follow God. You could just find it on yourself. Then it becomes obsolete. And if God demands good because whatever good is what God's feeling, therefore, yeah, it was like he was one of the first skeptics, I guess. But at the end of each discussion, he would go, "Yeah, but this is what we have. This is how God contacted us. So we can't really think much about it."
Yeah. He was like Ashari in that sense that he said, yeah, okay, let us stick to the revelation to have moral guidance, kind of.
Yes. Yeah. He was born, I believe he was born into a Mu'tazila uh, family. Then he adopted Ashari and became the greatest Ashari theologian. He's basically the Thomas Aquinas of Ashari.
Okay. Yeah. I really have to learn more because so far I only had like one deeper seminar on pleasure and pain in Islamic theology. Really interesting. Yeah.
If you're interested in the Ash'ari theology specifically, I would recommend the Razi. He's one of the greatest. Still, to this day, as one of the greatest.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Good luck, I guess.
Thank you.
I'm done with the conversation.
Thank you.
Do you wanna?
Thanks, Ted.
No
Appreciate
problem.
you. And Chimpo, I appreciate you. It's been a very fascinating conversation. I'm really interested, more so because I didn't realize that you came from an Islamic background. So that
I don't have really Islamic background. I just study it but yeah.
You're studying from that perspective. I understand now.
I had religious studies as my bachelor's, and now I'm doing Islamic theology as my master.
Do you think that there's any danger of you believing in Allah or that Muhammad is his messenger?
Yeah, that is a good question. Like, I really think it's worth considering that the Quran is something divine because of the high quality, and also because like I see also there's like the Muhammad a lot as a social reformer and questioning the system of like that was based on relationship and kin and the criticizing the financial superiority of the Quraysh and so on. But I think as an agnostic, I really cannot say this shahada in good faith. And but one of the main reasons I have not like adapted Islam is probably I think like when you convert, you like I have the feeling like you should have like you should prove yourself, like you have make extra effort to be taken seriously, or people are gonna say, yeah, you're just trying to bring Christianity into Islam or whatever. And in Christian theology, I have this paradigm of like there's this queer theology, feminist theology, whatever, and like I am in community with these liberal theologians in Islamic theology academia in Germany, but there's not really a big community, to be honest. And for example, the issue of praying separately, it is giving me the ick. Like I would go praying in a mosque, but I would not separate myself. Like when I pray, it's really important that everyone is like equally in the room and so on. So in most mosques, you'll have the gender separation, and when I start with something, I will be like so. So there are many like cultural barriers, I would say, why I would not like have a also more Muslim lifestyle. But let's see, I'm spending the 5 next month in Istanbul. Let's see what is happening there.
Um, you said you're going to Istanbul.
Yeah, for Erasmus studies, like 1 semester abroad.
I hope you stay safe. I hope it's enjoyable. I hope you learn a lot
Thank
there.
you. Thank you.
It sounds exciting. I hope that you come back and I get to keep asking you questions, because it sounds like you're on some kind of journey. It sounds like you're looking for a destination with your agnosticism and your desire for there to be a God and an afterlife. Like you need a structure that fits fits you. Is that something that you're striving towards, or is that just an appearance?
A destination, I don't know. A destination sounds a bit final. Like I really I really like just the way, like, thinking about existence, about God, about life, about death. I really just enjoy the different, like, evaluating, twisting thoughts in my head, the act of doubt. Like, this is actually the essential thing I long for to do and I enjoy to do. So I hope, like, I don't expect to stop that at some point. I really like what, like, I spoke about Leslie Hazelton before. She was really inspiring for me in her TED Talks and her books, because she considers herself also as an agnostic Jew, and yeah, she puts a lot of emphasis on this act of doubt that is enjoyable to some, apparently. And yeah,
I find it enjoyable.
Yeah. I think it's really enjoyable, but like, I'm maybe thinking one day maybe I write a book or something, like maybe 100 reasons to believe and then 100 reasons not to believe, something like this.
I'd read it.
Huh?
I would read that. Let me know when you write your book.
Okay, I'll let you know.
I appreciate you, Jimbo. I hope we get to talk to you again soon, but I do think I need to move forward.
Okay.
But thank you so
much as well.
And of course,
Yeah.
I don't even need to tell you, but I do hope that you keep asking questions. I'm sure that you will.
I will.
Big W's for Jimbo. Yeah, I hope we get to hear from her again soon, and I hope her studies go well. But yeah, very, very delightful conversation. And now we have the homie mute with a lot of background noise, but can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
26.
And do you have a belief in a God or God's higher power or anything like that?
Yeah, I believe in God.
And which God is that?
It's funny because the way that I experience God he's not always just. It doesn't always come to me like as a male. I've also gotten aspects of like a feminine side. This is my experience, though.
So you have experience of a God that has male and female sides.
Yeah.
What is this God?
Well, I believe in Jesus, right? Like I believe in the Bible. I'm not religious or none of that, but this is where like I get all this from.
You get it from the Bible, that there's a male and female God.
Oh yeah.
Where is that in the Bible?
It's not. That's why I said I'm not religious. You could bash me for it, but I mean, this is just me being totally honest, because like I felt it.
Here to bash you for it. I'm here to question your beliefs. Can you question your beliefs?
Yeah. I do it all the time.
So you believe in a male, female God? Is it one God that has both aspects, or is it a man and a woman that are both God? Or is it, like, how does that work?
I honestly, what makes most sense to me is that it's different. It's the male and a female. Like it's not just one God, like one being that has both of them. Like it's a male and a female. Like with the way I experience it.
So it's not one being that has both, like, aspects. Is it
I wouldn't
both?
know. I wouldn't know to say for sure, but I would. They don't operate the same way. Like the way that I experience God, He doesn't always operate, or she doesn't always operate.
So like there's
in
a
the same way.
God, there's a God and a goddess.
Well, yeah. I mean, if that's how you want to put it, like, yeah, I don't mind sharing that.
Okay. And but you said you also believe in Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Where do you get that?
Well, the male version or the male side of like the God that I have in my mind is Jesus. Like since He's all three in one, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and say that the Holy Spirit is the one, feminine one talking to me in like certain moments. But this is just me like going way too deep. But this is like my
the Holy
experience.
Spirit is female, and God and Jesus are both male.
Yeah, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, like a family, right? Mother, wife, husband, father, son.
Oh, I see.
Feel me?
And they're all God.
Yeah, they operate different ways,
as
but
one, or they operate differently? They all have the same powers.
no.
I see.
It's the feminine one on like really speaking, the feminine side, when I've experienced God on like the feminine side, it's like beautiful, bro. Like it's a story. Like the experience I'm having, it's like I could see the story, how it's being written, or like too many things add up or patterns, and I'm like, whoa, like they're telling me something right now.
There's a story being written.
Yeah.
What are you even talking about at this point? What story?
Like for example, I'll get glimpses or I'll get feelings of things that are about to happen. And then when they do happen, I'll be like, oh, like that was for sure God talking to me. Like there's no way people could match certain feelings or certain things that happen.
Feelings and things that happen. Are you saying that you feel something is going to happen and then the thing happens? Is that what you're saying? Like you have premonitions?
Yeah, sometimes it happens instantaneously, but I notice that it's not me doing it. You feel me? Like I'm not the one in control of it. Like,
So you're
I just get to notice it.
You look at things and things happen. You just happen to notice that certain things happen. Do things ever happen that you don't notice?
Yes.
Would you say that more things happen that you notice, or more things happen that you don't notice?
that I don't notice.
So in what way is this?
Because, like, for example, I'll be having like my experience, like I'll be doing my thing, or I'll be like watching some stuff unfold on my end, and then I won't notice all the extras until after it's already said and done. You feel me? Like until everything in the moment is finished, then
I get
after
what you're saying.
I'll notice it. I'll be like, whoa.
Then after you'll notice it and be like,
Yeah.
whoa.
You see patterns, certain words people use, like you'll hear it around you. Like, your mind and your
hear
body is just a physical representation of the universe.
So you're saying because you see patterns around you, could that not be
I see a lot more than patterns.
overlaying patterns, assuming patterns, because things seem that way? What patterns are you talking about?
For example, I'll go outside and I'll see certain numbers every single time, matching numbers, or like I won't even be trying to do it and I'll look at the clock and I'll be like, whoa. You feel me? Or like certain things that happen, like certain things that add up in my day to day, and I'll be like, whoa, dude, like,
whoa.
I don't know. I've came to
You're not
concentrate on
much.
everything.
When you're saying
going
you
on.
just like look at the clock and you'll be like, whoa. Like,
yeah.
What are you actually communicating to me right now? In what way is this telling me that there is some God intervening or some pattern underlining?
I could share something he's taught me or they've taught me. The God that I believe in. They've taught me how to hear my thoughts, bro. Hear my thoughts and any action that I want to have in my body, how to move the energy. It's almost like water.
So they taught you how to hear your
meditate.
Thoughts.
Yep.
So you're saying you didn't know how to hear your thoughts before?
Oh yeah, I did not know how. I can't stay still, you know? Now I could stay still for like extended periods of time. I'll be counting raindrops sometimes, bro. I know how insane that sounds, but like just deep concentration. And just, I'm starting to dwell into like emotions, like trying to see the effect emotions have.
So you're saying that the God taught you how to slow down?
Yeah.
And in teaching you how to slow down, I'm sorry, how did the God teach you that?
I sit perfectly still, like in a lotus position.
Mm-hmm.
Or sometimes I just sit down in a chair and I'll listen to music, right? Okay. And I'll try to replicate the song in my head and also add on to it. Like I have a whole on studio in my head, thanks to God, you know. Like I found a love for art, a love for writing.
I'm sorry, how does this relate to God, though? In what way is this God doing it? You're just saying that you sit down and you listen to the music, you try to replicate and add to it. It sounds like you have an ear for music or a mind for music. What does that have to do with God?
Well, I wouldn't have that type of like imagination or that type of love for anything before my encounter with God. If this makes any sense. Like I'm not the smartest tool in the box, you know? So
what encounter with God?
Oh, like he saved me from like losing my mind, bro, and like offing myself, you know, a couple times. I was going through some heavy stuff.
How do you know it was God?
Cause like I actually like cried out, you know. I cried out. I was like, bro, and it wasn't even like an ask for help. I was more like complaining. I was like, bro, why are you doing this to me? You know, like the audacity, you know? I didn't ask for this.
So you complained,
Yep.
and then you felt like God intervened.
Oh, yeah.
How did God intervene?
He took away voices from my head. He took away a lot of fear I had, like a lot of
Have you
confidence I had lost.
Have you talked to anybody, a doctor or anything about this encounter?
No, I think my biggest mistake was never going to look for help. But thank God I'm over like that stage in my life.
To look for help.
I got God, bro.
And you think that God helps in every way that you need? That there's no thing a doctor could do for you?
Oh no, yeah. I'm not saying that like medics and like psychologists or like medicine doesn't work or it can't fix something that is wrong with you. I'm just saying that when it comes to my mind and my heart, I think that like to me the best doctor was God, bro. That's why I'm here talking to you about it today. I don't mind sharing this.
So for you cried out and you felt that the voices quieted and your mind went calmer. For you, when you
started making art.
Sorry, for you, when you cried out, there was a quiet, and that to you was evidence of a God. But what of all the other millions, I don't know, countless people who cry out and have no evidence of a God, for whom the silence is nothing but the opposite answer?
One thing he has taught me is that everybody's experience is like personal.
How did he teach you that?
Teach me what exactly?
You said one of the things he taught you was that everyone's experience is personal. How did he teach you that?
Oh yeah, because your perception or your perspective on reality as a whole is different from mine, just from the fact that we're two different people, so the way you observe reality is totally different as to how I observe it. So your experience is personalized, like your whole life experience, no religion or nothing, like just the way you live your life is totally different to mine. Hence your relationship with God is totally different to mine. But we could share some beliefs. All these are just things that like come to your mind, bro. I'm telling you, I'm not the smartest guy.
So then how is it that's God teaching you that? If it just comes to your mind, could that not be your mind working, putting things together?
I could be wrong. I don't mind saying that. I could be wrong. Like, I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to pop out the Bible on y'all. Like, I'm just saying this is what God has done for me.
What are you here for?
To question my belief.
How do you do that?
Sheesh.
I had to mute you there for a moment there, homie, because all I got was echo for a minute. When you covered up whatever part of your phone you covered up. So, if you don't know how to question your beliefs, it's sounding to me like you live in absolute certainty that your God exists and that every thought you have is kind of inspired by that God. Here's the unmute invitation. Is that where you stand, that you're certain that your God exists and that your thoughts are inspired by it?
Yeah, I could say that.
Can you question that?
Yes.
What
I always
does that
question it.
mean?
I always question it. For example, I get put in a lot of situations where this is totally normal human behavior, like where there's a good and a bad choice. And even when I feel like I'm making the right choice, I always ask like, "Hey, bro, like, is this okay? Am I good for this?" Like, and he'll usually send a sign over, send something over to let me know. You know, like I've come to like I could say like catch on to his rhythm, his tempo. But this is just between me and him. Like, I treat him more like a friend than like, oh, I'm super religious, godly figure. Like, he's my friend. He got me, you know. I believe.
How is that questioning? What does that have to do with the question I asked?
I ask questions sometimes like, hey, bro, like, what does this mean? Or what does that mean? Like,
So you don't question the existence of a God or your belief in it?
it's because to me, he's not just like a singular being. He could pick and choose to be whatever he wants. Or it wants. Like, it's
Why
God,
do you
bro.
assume there is a he or an it or a God at all?
Well, there has to be like positive,
Why?
negative energy, right?
What is energy?
Like matter. I don't know. Like this construct we live in, time, space, matter. There's obviously like masculine energy, or like positive energy, negative energy. Like,
Wait, are you saying masculine is positive and feminine is negative? Where did you get that?
no, I would see. This is why I like sharing it, because don't take my word for it, but I don't know if that is what it is or not. But I would say like there's always two sides of it, like a yin and yang, if you get what I'm saying. Like, it's not just a single thing. Yeah, you can't have one without the other.
Two sides of what?
For example, like two sides of your brain.
So you're just
Like
saying
a
there's
right and
two
a wrong.
sides to anything you can think of? Or is it just that you can think of a lot of things that have two sides?
Ooh. Well, that's a deep question. Like, I don't believe there is a wrong choice. I just know, like, you automatically know which one is the right one, but there isn't really a bad one, because that's up to like your moral judgment, you know? If that makes any sense.
So there's no right or wrong, it's just up to you.
Yeah.
What are you even saying
Right.
anymore, homie? Are you drunk?
No. I'm just sharing.
Just sharing. Just saying things.
Yeah. I could be wrong, bro. I don't mind.
I don't feel like this conversation is very productive. I feel like your answers are kind of disjointed and not really related to my questions. So I'm going to move on. I hope that you keep asking questions. Question something, anything, other than God. Like question if God, not just hey God. Yo God, what's up?
Hey God, it's me, your boy.
What's up? The audience all fell asleep, and then most of them scrolled away. Because following that conversation was nauseating, and I'm with them. I'd have scrolled away if I could have.
I just scrolled back in after not, like, I literally caught the last 90 seconds of that. So that was a good call on my part, I guess.
Well done.
WCat in the chat. No, I'm just kidding. The last two before that were really good, though.
Wonderful. Two very wonderful guests to start.
I really really enjoyed listening to Tav and the last guest, not the last guest, I really like that was really interesting. You guys are so sweet down there. And somebody came in, and during the first guest, somebody came in the room and tried to fight me, like right off gate.
I missed that. I was engaged in that conversation. It was good.
I might have called somebody stupid.
Oh, Cat.
It was his fault. It wasn't my fault. I said unintelligent does not mean irrational does not mean unintelligent. And he tried to argue with me about it. And then I was like, why'd you come in here and just try to pick an argument? And he was like, I was bored, so I was fucking with you. I was like, so you walk in a room and think, I'm bored, I'm gonna fuck with the mod. I was like, that seems irrational. Maybe you're not that smart. It was a good one. It was a good one. It was warranted and called for. He walked himself right into it.
I'll have to go back and find that in the chat box.
I tried to meaningfully engage with him before it got there, so.
Well, then I guess you get your W after all.
I was like, and then I typed in the chat, sorry, Thrayle, apparently I'm not taking anybody's shit tonight.
I caught that. I did see that, and I was like, I didn't have the moment to distract myself and go back and see what it was.
No, I understand. I didn't mute him or anything. I just, was not taking a shit. Is it?
Oh, I totally missed it. Check that out. We've got Harry Mudd.
Greetings.
Harry Mudd. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
I am 69 years old.
And do you have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like
that? At this point in my life, largely, I would have to say yes, but I would have the caveat that you would really need to define yourself as to what you mean by God or higher power, and then address it.
So if you have a belief in something that you think of in a something like that kind of way, a god or anything at all, what is that?
Well, it appears to me that you are skeptics, and that this is your, and you question what interface someone else was on, so you don't know exactly what lured me in here. Is that correct?
It doesn't matter what we are.
Harry, there's a prompt on the screen, and you see there's a lot of text.
Oh, yeah, can you question your beliefs? The reason I'm talking to you is that if I were looking at my own life from outside, judging it, presumably not knowing it was my own life I was judging, this is what I might see. This is how I would lure people in. So that's why I'm talking to you.
You were sitting outside your own life, not judging it. This is how you would lure people in. What does that mean, Harry?
So you were a skeptic trying to get either information from people to understand or entertainment for others. And you made it clear there's other people watching.
Could it be possible?
Harry, there's at least 70 people watching.
Okay.
And,
or listening.
Well, a few more on YouTube, so.
I'll bet.
Are you drunk, Harry?
Oh, no, I'm not drunk. Maybe a little crazy, but not drunk.
Could it be possible that there are just people in the world who like to do things that they think are good for the world and other people, and good for us too? Is that a possibility? It's not a trap. We're not luring anybody in. We're just trying to do something good.
this interface may operate on various levels that are beyond my immediate understanding.
Like maybe it's a critical thinking exercise that is meant to help people question what they believed and think about it in a meaningful way.
Well, if you think of it as a critical thinking exercise, I think it is actually much more than that somewhere, somehow.
Fascinating. Well, Harry, while you, take notes and analyze what the interface's overall purpose is, do you mind participating with the interface so we may continue, or do we need to move on to another guest?
Let me propose something unusual I haven't really told anyone. That might be kind of what you're getting people to do. Sometimes it seems like there's a transcript of my life and so how I'm running back through it, except with different emphasis and perhaps the same words going to different people in a given interaction with other human beings. Perhaps as a means of optimizing a life. Like that old movie Groundhog Day, except not really like that, but a repetition of a life until it's acceptable, based upon a transcript, is what it looks like. There's also a sense that if I express a belief about something, it ends up kind of evolving that way. Like it's accommodating me rather than my actually correctly interpreting what was occurring.
How is it accommodating you?
Fulfilling expectations that might not ever otherwise have been fulfilled. This is what it looks like. But generally, one has the sense of life where you're exploring and dealing with things as they come.
Do you have access to a 9-volt battery?
A 9-volt battery? I have a couple in the kitchen. I'm not sure if they're alive, though.
If one of them is, I would recommend putting it in that smoke detector that we keep hearing.
Well, that's a different story. That is a very old smoke detector, which I believe, talking to an AI, it's eventually decided that it's an end-of-life issue, that it's so old that they engineered in an alarm. It actually runs on 110 AC. It's hardwired into the place where I live. So you can't really, unless you're an electrician, you're not supposed to actually fix it yourself. And it's just there are beeps and beeps. There's actually 2 of them beeping because I guess they're about the same age and they started beeping.
How do you live like that?
Well, the alternative would be very expensive. The last time I tried to get someone to do electrical work, they wanted $500 for something very simple. And
That's not that much.
Other times were less expensive, but it would take 2 weeks to get them to come there. And you felt like you were like begging them to do anything. And I don't want to be in that situation. If I can figure out a safe way to get up to the ceilings, there's 2 different heights. And I think I could do it, but it would be expensive, even just getting me up there.
I have a non-smoke detector related question.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Have you ever talked somebody out of wanting to exist or thinking they exist?
That doesn't jump out of something I've done, no.
Well, congratulations, you did tonight.
Oh, you're pretending to be cruel.
No, I'm not, and it's not me I'm talking about. So, I already am not sure that I exist, that you couldn't have talked me out of my own existence. No. What do you gain from being so pretentious?
In terms of existence, if anything, what I've seen is that one does continue to exist. There may be some question about whether the world will remember
we were past
you.
existence.
I beg your pardon?
I was past existence. I asked what you gain from being so pretentious.
That may be my natural tendency. I have a large ego.
Oh, you just have a natural tendency towards pretentiousness. I see.
Well, what do you mean by pretentiousness? I've talked to other people on TikTok, and I seem to present my personality different ways to different situations. So I'm not sure what you're curious about, or maybe playfully pretending to be disdainful of.
I'm not disdainful of anything. I'm just genuinely curious what you gained from acting, like having this air of condescension about you.
It's not really condescension. It's more that I may have seen things that perhaps I'm not able to convey to you, and there may
Well,
be.
you came in here accusing us of luring value or something of the sort, which is
in a way just the opposite. The presentation I'm seeing, there's just like an image with the words of like every little evil image you could see, and glowing eyes and skulls.
how is an image
and the man
evil?
himself.
What makes an image evil?
I'm trying to make a point here.
What's
is
evil
that it's not,
sounds?
you're not luring
We don't
in the
understand
innocent. You look
what you mean
like,
by evil.
Oh, okay, we're interrupting each other. Go ahead.
We don't. Well, I'm just trying to clarify before we go forward, because we don't understand what you mean by evil. What do you mean by evil? What makes something evil? What is evil?
Well, that's a good question, because I don't, in a way, that gets complicated. In the American jargon, in the American typical way of expressing things, these are images that are associated with evil, but it's artwork.
Which image is associated with evil?
Well, how about a skull with glowing eyes, or a red-faced person with a pitchfork with horns? But it's artwork. It's artwork.
Out of how many characters?
Oh, there could easily be 15.
How many other characters are up there associated with evil?
Is Santa Claus evil?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, the ones with the glowing eyes would be what I would expect.
Why is a skull with glowing eyes evil?
I've seen American movies as I grew up.
Do you have a skull?
In my head, under my skin, on my head, I would presume so. Yes.
So
I'm
lack
not
of
sure what you're
skin
asking.
makes it evil?
Well, perhaps in human artwork that I've seen, representations of things associated with death, like a decayed body you would see the skull and these kinds of things.
Is death evil?
Well, my current personal definition of quote unquote death is not probably normal, but going back to my life earlier and what I learned in movies and things and religion and whatnot is, well, I'm actually forgetting exactly the phrasing of your question, but is death evil? Is that what your question was?
That is what the question was.
Yeah, I can't answer that. I don't think of things in those terms. We would have to build a complex definition of each word in the question.
Then how is the skull evil? Like, how is the lack of skin evil?
Well, I'm not saying it actually is evil. I'm saying it is consistent with the presentations of evil I've seen in media through my life.
Interesting. So really quickly, I'm going to go ahead and interrupt. I'm going to thank KD, Just What I Heard, Shell, Sonoli, Danny Grax, Jace, and Diamond for helping with the goal. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate you. Also, we're at 18,000 likes. We appreciate everybody tapping the screen. The more we tap, the more likely we will be able to actually get someone who's capable of questioning their beliefs to request on up. And until that happens, of course, there's a poll in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. You can all voice your thoughts there. But really, Harry, now that we've determined that you didn't even know what you meant by evil when you said that there's a bunch of evil things on the screen, why are you here?
In these interactions, sometimes in hindsight, I realize why I was there. While I'm actually doing it, it's a little, on the fly. I can't really tell you for sure. On good and evil,
He's trying to get us on a gotcha from our lore.
As I've gotten older, it looks more like it's more like a yin and yang, and each side points at the other as evil.
I didn't ask you about good and evil again. I just asked why you're here. Why did you request on the panel that says, can you question?
Well, I was intrigued
Can you question your
the
beliefs?
way you have given great warning to people before coming in, it looks like you've approached the lion den or a dark alley. It's like anyone who comes in has been forewarned, and in that context, if I were you, I would feel I had some license to do things that might be otherwise inappropriate. But you could rationalize it by saying, hey,
Harry,
they knew what they were
Harry,
doing.
Harry,
Yeah.
Harry,
Yeah.
Harry, what does it say on the screen?
Batcolyte, can you question your beliefs? What is your belief? Why do you believe? Be respectful.
Right up there with Bat Coyote.
Almost. So it says Batcolyte.
Well, okay.
It says, can you question your beliefs? What is your belief? Why do you believe? Be respectful. And then over on the side it says questioning beliefs, not a debate, right?
Yeah, but what kind of got me was that when I saw you with a skull with headphones on and a radio personality microphone, it's all flashing a red warning. Don't do this.
What do you think it gives him license to do? What do you think he has a license to do that may be otherwise inappropriate? I'm really intrigued about that statement.
He could entice someone to reveal things about themselves that might be embarrassing. They might be documenting personal impropriety. They could simply be the fact they might not realize how many people might be listening. There's a number of questionable aspects to what's happening here. And obviously, I have been forewarned in a graphic way without actually, signing on something. I was skydiving once, and the guy said, "You're signing your life away."
No, we're not asking for a story now. So
Well,
you're saying
these are very strange assumptions.
These are extremely strange assumptions. So you're saying that because there's a skull with glowing eyes, and that I use an image of a skull with a microphone and headphones, that this is somehow forewarning you, and yet you've come up here being nothing but disrespectful and antagonistic and really roundabout, avoiding literally every question.
Then I
so
apologize.
The question, what was the
I apologize
question
for those things. I didn't perceive them.
Now you're interrupting me, which is also kind of disrespectful, so let's stop that. So what was the question that I started this conversation with, Harry?
At 69, you want me to remember the original question? I don't recall.
Well, it was first.
It literally says it on the screen.
First question was your age.
That's right.
The next was if you had a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that. You began.
And then I tried to make it more
about the meaning of higher power and God and all that. And then I asked you, if you have a belief in something like that, then what is it? Do you remember now?
Well, sometimes if you read it back to me, I can recognize whether it's accurate more easily. Are you testing my memory ability?
No.
I mean, if I was 17, I'd do really well.
I'm just trying to see why you keep trying to pull us into these different directions when really we're just trying to find out if you believe in a God, what that God is and why, and if you can question that, Harry. And so far,
well, in my
avoiding that conversation,
in my own definition, what
costs?
I beg your pardon. In my own definition, which I don't think I can explain, I would have to say yes. Yes, of course.
Fascinating. Well, since the audience has spoken, Harry, maybe another time you'll find your way back here and actually be capable of questioning your beliefs instead of pontificating at length on literally every thought that enters your mind.
That was so weird, dude.
It might help if you get those smoke detectors fixed. It's almost like the dinging is.
Sorry, I asked him what he gained from being so pretentious, but I couldn't help it.
It's a little bit more confrontatory than I like to be, but you did it, not me.
Right. I don't usually like to do that either, but it's just some people need it.
I get pretty confrontive when they get disrespectful. Hello, Alice. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
Yes, I'm 23.
And do you have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that?
I do. I mean, it's hard to say what it is, but I would think it's like a mix of like Hinduism as far as like source goes and all of that, and like the highest power or like the universe. And then I'm also pagan, so I worship some Greek gods, especially Hecate.
What is source?
Source, so source is like, it's where we all come from. It's like the creator of everything in some way, and it's a part of everything, and we're all a part of that, and we're all connected to it, and we're also all connected to each other.
Why do you think there's a creator of everything?
Well, I think there would kind of just have to be. I mean, there's synchronicities, there's things that happen that tell you that there's some sort of like something going on, and I guess that's hard to explain, but you know, there's just shit that you can't really explain all the time.
Sorry, there's shit you can't explain, so therefore there's a creator of everything that's interconnected amongst all of us that we're all made of and we all come from and we all go. Like, how do you get all of those assumptions from we can't explain?
Well, just like things like how we even survived up to this point, like humans or life at all, like how I know in the infinite like space, all of that, all of the universe, all of everything, it's bound to happen, but how could we have made it this far? Even we've made it so far, and we keep evolving and keep evolving, and it just seems to me like evolution has like a lot of shortcomings, and it was bound to explode unless there was some sort of something giving it structure.
What? What does that mean?
Like, you know, we all evolved from like fish or whatever, from like little tiny atoms and living little microorganisms, and they evolved into this and that and whatever, and we all kept evolving. But it seems likely to me that with all of these different creatures evolving and changing all of the time, there should have been some sort of something that caused it all to go to hell, to cause it all to malfunction, and causing all of life to like not exist.
Why?
Because how could it not? Because it's like it's predicting. It's kind of like warfare, how it just predicts everything, and it keeps predicting like what it needs to do to evolve. I don't understand how it could do that. I don't understand how evolution could work without that, without like some sort of higher knowledge commanding it to, some higher power commanding it to do it a certain way.
Why do you assume that?
I don't know. I mean, how could I not? I'd like to hear your thoughts on...
I'm asking you why you assume this. That's my thought.
It's less of an assumption, more like I'm stuck on it. Like, it's not like, you know, just a belief I had. It's a question I had that hasn't really been answered. I'm not sure how to explain it, but
So
then
the
there are
question
other...
is, how have we not faced some life collapsing catastrophe if there wasn't a higher power
guiding us through it, like especially
guiding us? So have you ever studied prehistoric biology?
I have not.
Do you think that it's possible that there have been more than one mass extinction, nearly ending all life on Earth?
Yes, but wasn't that climate?
So then you're saying that evolution itself, just the process of evolution, should have also caused some sort of life collapse. How?
Yeah, I kind of do. I mean, it all ended up perfect for us. And then, like,
Perfect?
some
What's
plants...
perfect?
Well, maybe not so perfect. Definitely not so perfect. But, like, it ended up how it is today. It ended up successful, give or take.
What is
and
successful?
We're
does that
alive.
mean?
We're alive.
So-
Not only are we alive, but we're conscious. We're aware of ourselves. We're aware of our surroundings. We can even manipulate our consciousness and our awareness. And
What does that have to do with a higher power guiding anything? How do you know that that's not a result of natural processes?
I reckon it could be. I reckon it could be. But that's just the biggest argument. And I have to say, I don't think I really thought about what I was gonna say before I came on here. There's things I haven't thought about in a pretty long time, to be honest.
That's very honest, Alice.
Oh well.
Do you think that if you studied evolution and found that it was a very slow and arduous process, and that not every species results in something conscious or something aware, but that some do, and that maybe it could have happened that this process was entirely well, not random, but due to probability and chance, and within the realm of that.
I think, well, honestly, I think I would still believe it. There's a lot of feeling too, and like a lot of feeling. Like, my reality is mostly internal. I think everyone would argue or agree that their realities are internal if they're honest with themselves. So it's kind of a fun debate, but not really one that makes a difference. But I thought I would join anyway. I don't think there's ever really any way that I could possibly think otherwise.
You don't think there's any way that you could ever think some specific God that doesn't guide or interact?
No, I don't think that.
Okay, Alice.
Do you think that
Go ahead, Cal.
at 23 years old, you know enough information and you have enough clarity and you've lived enough life to make that determination?
No, I don't. I don't think that, but at the same time, and I'm not that smart either. Like, I'm really not that smart. Um, but I've lived, like, I've been through a lot in my life, you know, and I'm still here, and I've learned a lot too, and I think I've become decently wise for it, like, for my age, and I think I pay enough attention to things, and I couldn't name one of them things right now, but I think I do know things that a lot of people might not.
I want to clarify that I wasn't trying to say that because of your age you don't know anything or you don't have any experience. I'm not that much older than you. It's not like an age thing. It's a, it's the fact that like, um, it's really a question of how could you possibly like be able to have gained enough knowledge in this short time to make any determinations that you know this is what you will always think.
Oh, it's not. You know, I've changed my religion a lot of times. Atheism has never been an option for me at all. I mean, of course, I've thought about it, but I think it's more likely to be some wild religious truth, like, you know, that spaghetti god theory over it being atheism that's real.
I don't call myself an atheist, FYI. Um, so
Yeah,
like I don't
the way
think
you're
anybody was
responding,
suggesting atheism is real.
I think that's twice now the way you've responded to a question, Alice. It's not intended to like push atheism on you as though we are, and it's kind of strange. Nobody's trying to make you an atheist. We're trying to see if you can question your beliefs. So, you said you don't know why you came up here, and it seems you really don't. You don't question your beliefs. It's something that you may change in the future, but you can't question your assumption that there is a beginning, creator, an intender, and a designer.
No, I mean, I question things, but I don't really question my current beliefs much.
Why do you think that we were trying to convince you that atheism is the way?
Well, I mean, I guess I just assumed from the beginning that you'll have your own beliefs, and then, you know, I'm talking about what mine are, and you're asking me questions about how I know that it's true or not, so that was my assumption, that you were atheists.
Right. So, I mean, I think it's a fair assumption that everybody has their own beliefs, right? But like the assumption that those are atheistic, which is kind of a lack of belief rather than a belief system, um, is like, I don't think either of us said anything to indicate that.
Well, and not only that, it's just not even the topic. So it doesn't seem like Alice read the prompt at all. So we're going to move on. I appreciate you, Alice, for being at least respectful and honest. I hope that you keep asking questions and maybe try to ask a few more someday. Then I'm not going to continue that. I think we'll just move forward.
I don't like when people assume, oh, you're just atheist trying to convince me of atheism. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. Why would I do that? This whole like notion that people come up here with that there's some hidden agenda, like
The agenda is on the screen.
yeah, it's not hidden. It's perfectly clear. That's what I meant by the pretentious guy was trying to get us in a gotcha. He was trying to come up here like, I know what you're doing. Can't get me.
Does a skull with glowing eyes give me license to do something that a skull without glowing eyes wouldn't?
That's a good question.
Do I get a free pass for things? Is it the glowing eyes or is it the fleshless face? Because, you know, if all we've got to do is peel our faces off to get extra privileges.
Sign me the fuck up.
But if anybody watching does have a belief in a god or gods, a higher power, or anything like that, and you're capable of questioning that belief, then go ahead and request on up. We're not here to debate you or argue. I'm not trying to burgle your god, although there is always room in the shed for one more. I'm really just trying to see if you can question your beliefs. And if you can, then what is it that you believe? And why do you believe it? Not just the name of it, but really the what, the shape of it, the structure, the things you leave out.
And you know what, guys? Sometimes in Discord we get glimpses of the inside of the shed, and it looks very cozy and the gods seem very happy. So they're in good hands.
Yes, they're certainly not being mistreated in any way, shape, or form.
Not in any way. Nope.
This is true, they are not being mistreated.
Hey guys.
Hello, prodigal. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
Yeah, I'm 22.
And do you have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm a Christian, specifically Protestant, so I believe in the Holy Trinity.
And have you read your Bible from beginning to end?
I have indeed.
And do you believe the stories within it to be true and literal?
I believe that some of it can be less... I believe that Jesus spoke in parables, so I think that some of the stories of the Bible can be parables, or something similar. But I do believe historical timeline of events and stuff like that. Yeah. Short answer, yes.
So the Old Testament stories, you believe those as well?
I do.
6-day creation, Adam and Eve, those are true.
Like I said, I think that, because God exists out of time, that his kind of time is different than ours. So I don't know if I quite believe in the 6-day creation literally as 6 days. But yeah.
But 6 God days.
Yeah, whatever that means.
Mm-hmm. So the day length is in question because it could be a God day or a human day.
Yeah.
But is the order true?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that last sentence?
Is the order given true?
I believe so, yes.
Which one?
Do you mean the historical account from Genesis where, the waters were organized into the the sphere and globe we live on today. Then there was land, and then there was birds, sky, all of that. Is that what you're talking about?
You say that's a historical account, so you find that to be the true order.
Yes, I do.
Does that mean that the order given in Genesis 2 is false?
I think the order given in Genesis 2 is a kind of different perspective on it, right? Because I believe in one ultimate truth, but I also believe that based on your perspective, things can shift.
So whose perspective had man created before plants and animals?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to chalk that up to perspective, but for example, if you're born, you don't really know what came before you were born. I mean, you can infer by things around you, but we got to remember who wrote the book of Genesis. It was Moses. He wasn't there, obviously, for creation. So
you're saying Moses wrote the book of Genesis, so he would have written both chapters and contradicted himself.
Yeah, I mean, he could have been telling two different accounts of what he thought may have happened. He could have been telling one as true and one as another kind of look at it. One could have been a deeper lens into the other.
Why does he give reason for the different order in Genesis 2?
I'm not sure if he does.
Time, when he says that before there were plants because God had not made it rain and there was no man, implying that the plants require rain and a man before they will even be there.
Yeah.
He makes the mist come up and then he makes the man. So he makes the man before the plants because they need the man. And then later, 2:18, it's not good that man should be alone. I shall make him a helper. And so out of the ground he makes the animals. Because man's alone, he makes the animals. And then only because he can't find a helper among the animals, he makes Eve. So he gives the becauses, the reasons wherefore each thing happens.
Correct.
In a different order than Genesis 1.
Is it a different order or is it a different look at it? Because from what I understand, the reason why man had to be created for the plants was because the Garden of Eden was a literal garden, right? And God, one of the commandments he gave Adam and Eve was to tend the garden. And God could have tended the garden himself technically, but he created Adam and Eve. Part of their purpose was to tend the garden.
Before the garden was made.
Yes.
So he makes Adam before the garden to tend the garden.
I think they were made after the garden.
But why does it say in 2? Is it 7 or 8? Maybe it's 9. He says he makes Adam before the garden.
Yeah, so if you look at it in a few ways, right? So when you refer to plants, what are you referring to? Just all vegetation? Or do you mean grass? Or do you mean bushes and trees? Like what do we quantify plants as? My personal take is that, the garden existed, the place, which it was a place, and man was created within that garden, in that region of space or of the earth, right?
But why does it say that the garden was created to the east after the man is created?
To the what?
Hang on, one of us is eventually going to have to open their damn Bible. So...
Here, let me get mine too.
2:7, then the Lord God formed the man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. And the Lord God planted a garden in Eden in the east, and there he put the man who he had formed.
Which translation are you reading?
That was the RSV. You want me to grab a KJV?
RSV. I'm on NKJV right now.
Okay, well, I have a KJV handy here.
Okay.
It says basically the same thing.
You said Genesis chapter 2?
7, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. The words are exactly the same. And out of the ground the Lord God made grow every tree that is pleasant. So he places the man in the garden before he makes the trees grow even in the garden. But that's before he makes any herbs of the field or shrubs or plants, depending on whatever translation you use there, 2:5.
Yeah. So I see what it's describing in 2:5, that there's no vegetation or plants, essentially. A mist went up from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. The Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground. So the dust of the ground, I know this isn't what you're asking, but the dust of the ground with the mist of the ground as well would form mud, right? And that is consistent with Genesis 1, where it's talking how God formed Adam from mud.
Yeah, but on the 6th day instead of the whatever day before plants. So here you can, I suppose, infer that this is Adam being made on day 2 or day 3.
Yeah, let me read Genesis chapter 1 really quick.
1:11 is where the plants.
Okay. The earth was not formed to be light.
While he reads Genesis, just let me remind everybody, keep tapping that screen. Appreciate all of you for getting us up to 28,000 likes. The more we tap, the more people might scroll in here, and who knows who might want to come up and question their beliefs.
Okay, so here we go. In chapter 11, it says, Then God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb that yields seed, right? That's important.
Interesting.
And the fruit tree that yields fruit according to its kind, whose seed is in itself on the earth. And it was so. So what I'm understanding here is that there were plants, but they were only seed and fruit bearing kinds.
So no seed and fruit-bearing plants is what you think 2:5 is referring to.
Yeah, that's what I would infer from the passage.
Which ones are the...
Hey, I mean, I don't know the vegetation that was first on the earth.
Right now, do you know of any vegetation that is non-seed or fruit-bearing?
That's hard to say. I mean, you could argue that certain kinds of grass, I mean, fungus. I don't think it has a seed as a
fungus is a plant.
Yeah.
And fungus has spores.
Yeah.
So what doesn't have a seed?
Give me 1 second. I'm going to look this up.
Great idea.
Okay, so Google says ferns, horsetails, or cattails, and what else? 1 second. I think it was ferns, mosses, and horsetails is what Google says.
Mosses.
Yep.
Hmm.
That's a very small group of plants, isn't it?
So ferns, horses, and mossetails have, and they don't have any kind of seed at all.
According to Google, a quick search. I can't exactly prove that. I'm not a botanist, but
Well, ferns propagate through spores, like mushrooms do.
sounds very seed-like.
Yeah, it does. I wonder if we can understand the term seed to be more of like what you would think of something edible, right? Because not all seeds are edible by humans. And the part of the purpose of the garden was Adam and Eve were supposed to eat of the garden, correct? And that was primarily fruit, likely vegetables, and I mean
But
other
the
kinds
fruit
of
was
seeds.
already, you already talked about fruit
Yeah.
being made on day 3, right?
Yes.
2:11. So is it possible that there is some kind of contradiction here, or some kind of disparity between these two stories, or is it is it that you will search endlessly for some kind of gleaning of a reason to make it all whole?
I would always search. I think translations, they change over time. I would also say that it is very possible that there could be a contradiction there. I would need to be more of a, theologian. I would need to have studied this extensively to tell you whether that's true or not.
If you were to study it, if you were to read into the Hebrew and find that there was, even in Hebrew, a contradiction between these two stories, do you think that it could be possible that there is I don't know, two different stories by an ancient people that didn't actually have any answers?
I mean, it's possible. I'll never say anything's impossible.
If they were two different stories from some ancient peoples who came together and formed a tribe, could it be that then the God that they imagine and the rules that it set forth are just what they found to help them with their society at that time? And
it could very well be true, yeah.
What would that say of the story of Jesus?
Yeah, so the story of Jesus is integrally dependent upon the prophecies and things that came about from the Old Testament, right? So I would say that it would bring some questionability to that story.
If the prophecies that you speak of were either misconstrued or unfulfilled by Jesus, would that also call into question the integrity of his story?
Very possibly. Can you give me an example of one of those prophecies that was not fulfilled?
Well, it's really going to depend on which ones you think are and aren't prophecies.
Okay.
Because, for instance, what is a messianic prophecy?
A messianic prophecy is somebody who is ordained by God, first of all, a prophet, has to speak about the coming Messiah and give details on something about him, something about his character, something about his ministry, anything like that. Just talk about whoever the future Messiah would be in any capacity.
And can you give me an example of a prophecy?
Yeah, I mean, let me find the exact passage really quick. So I'm going to tab out.
Sure. While he does that, we're up to 31,000, guys. Appreciate all the tapping, all the shares. Of course, if you haven't already shared, you can go down to the bent little arrow on your screen and click on the add to story, the repost, or just copy that link and send it to a friend, or a dozen friends, anybody who you think might enjoy the show or be curious enough or courageous enough to question their own beliefs. I wonder which one he'll come back with. If it's one Jesus fulfilled in his eyes. Or if it will be one that is not even a prophecy at all.
Yeah.
Some past tense recollection.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm just musing out loud while we wait. What you got?
You're good. So in Micah 5:2, it talks about how the Messiah would come from Bethlehem, which I think is pretty irrefutable to be said to have been true. To add on to that, Zechariah 9:9.
Sorry. I was before you add on, because that's.
Yeah.
I was just checking what Micah 5:2 says.
Yeah. Apologies.
So, what does Micah 5:2 say in your translation?
It says, "But you, Bethlehem Ephrath." I can't say that word. Sorry, I keep tabbing out. "Though you are little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of you shall come forth to me the one true ruler of Israel. Forths are from old and everlasting." Little shout out for Bethlehem there.
And so you're saying that that is a prophecy that the Messiah will come from Bethlehem.
Yes, it does state of Bethlehem.
What is the context in which that is said?
That's a good question. To understand the context, you would have to really dive deep in the Hebrew and understand Hebrew and Israelite culture at that time. But I can do a quick little logos search for you. Give me a couple minutes here.
Is it possible that the context of this is not related to messianic prophecy, but a prophecy of a king to come for a city?
It's possible that it would be describing the one true ruler of Israel, as it states, which the one true ruler of Israel in Hebrew belief was commonly thought to be the Messiah. It was synonymous.
So you're saying that if it was a prophecy about that the coming ruler was to be the king of a city, in context, that wouldn't be
It wouldn't be, because it says everlasting specifically, and everlasting means for all time continuing forward.
Which verse are you talking about? Sorry, I just
I'm
want to
talking
clarify.
about
Micah 5:2.
Micah 5:2. Yeah.
How you doing, Rev?
Superb. How are you all doing?
Very well.
Doing great.
So what do you have to say about that?
You're saying that there's a word there that means eternal.
No. So it says everlasting. Everlasting means for all time moving forward from a certain point. Eternal means it has never had an end, or it will never have an end, and it's never had a beginning. So everlasting.
Sorry, just to clarify, where does it say everlasting?
In Micah 5:2, right at the end of the passage. But yeah, everlasting means that something starts at one point, but will go on for all eternity. So the Christian belief.
It doesn't say everlasting.
Wait, what'd you say, Rav?
It doesn't say everlasting.
In my translation, it does. Give me 1 second.
I'm happy to pull up the Hebrew for you, but I just looked at it and it did not say everlasting. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get my iPad out so we can look at the Hebrew together as opposed to me being off app or something like that. Is that okay, Thrayle? I just want to make sure that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What translation are you reading? Because you're reading from the Hebrew. I'm reading from NKJV.
He's reading
King James.
direct Hebrew.
He's reading direct Hebrew. How do you have access to that? Do you speak Hebrew and read and write Hebrew, or?
כן, אני יכול לדבר בעברית, וגם למדתי באוניברסיטה ל5 שנים, ויש לי סמיכה Hebrew Union College. Yeah, in my class עוד אינפורמציה יש לי.
So you're reading from the original Hebrew. You understand
the original Hebrew. Yes, I am a rabbi.
Okay.
As Kat would acknowledge, a rabbi who is Jewish rabbi.
Quick Hebrew lesson.
Got you.
Prodigal. Rav.
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Said quick Hebrew lesson. Rav means rabbi.
Gotcha.
And kavod means respect or honor. And it also means, Rav also means abundance. So it's kind of like a double entendre. I'm at a hotel, so I have to connect to the internet really quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
So I assume he's an Orthodox rabbi.
Why do you assume that?
Because that would be, somebody who believes in the main original beliefs of Judaism.
Why do I have to believe in the beliefs of Judaism in order to understand what the text says?
Well, you said you were a rabbi. I'm just trying to understand a little bit about you.
That's true, but my beliefs aren't important to understand to help you question your beliefs.
You're right, they're not. I'm just trying to work to understand you better, because if I can understand you better, get a better context of you, I can understand.
So I also love questioning my beliefs, and so maybe another time you can come back when I'm questioning my beliefs, and you'd be more than welcome to ask me any question you would like. But at this moment in time, you have the amazing, esteemed opportunity to do what each of us on this panel and so many else have done, which is to question our beliefs at the Batcolyte. Okay, so here's the Hebrew first. Lechen yitnem ad 8. That you will be left helpless. Yoleda yalda. That until this one is born, the Yeter Achiv, and his brother and his kindred, his brethren, will come forth, Yeshuvun, and returned, and they shall be returned al b'nei Yisrael. And they shall be returned upon or to or toward the children of Israel. More simply, truly, God will leave them helpless until they are, until she is the one who is to bear, or will have cause to be born, and then the rest of his brothers will return. She will return to the children of Israel.
So, do you believe it's talking about the 12 tribes there? Or?
Yeah, well, I think I mean, we have to go back to the previous verse to get a little bit of exactly what it's talking about, but certainly
Mhm.
it's talking about Israel. So
Yeah.
yes, I mean the nation, all of the tribes,
Uh-huh.
presumably, especially I would imagine, honestly, I don't I'm not I'm just banking this off of just a brief thought, but like my guess is that it's about the ingathering of the exiles and kind of restoring both Israel in the north and Judah in the south. And I think that that is accurate based on what I'm looking at in the the translation of the previous verse, Micah 5:1.
Okay. My question is, why is
I got
the
it
King
correct.
James
I got it
version?
correct.
I'm sorry,
What's
what?
that? What? Sorry, what?
My question is, why is the King James version so different from the original Hebrew?
That is a great question. And to answer that question, there's a few questions that I would ask you.
Okay.
One is, do you know what translation? Well, first of all, do you know why the King James version was created, or how the King James version was created?
Somewhat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was because King James wanted to give a gift to the Christians of some kind or the Catholic Church. I don't remember, but it was something like that, correct?
That's great. Yeah, not the Catholic Church. No, it's okay. Church of England was created after Henry VIII
Mm-hmm.
decided that he wanted to get a divorce. Yes, but you're absolutely right. So, and then, and is the King James version a translation, or is it an amalgamation of other translations?
That's a
In
good
other words,
question.
was there a translation project, or was it a product of several other translations that were considered to be sort of lofty, idyllic translations at the time?
Yeah, so I believe it was the second, but I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lead-in kind of rhetorical question, but I appreciate you sticking with me and maintaining
Mhm.
the integrity of the question. Okay, so third question: which translations were used in order to build the King James version?
Yeah, so we're only talking about the Torah, right?
Well, a good question, good clarifying question. I'm going to say that I actually don't even know how many different um, translations were used. In other words, it is, and I say this not as a judgmental phrase, but it
Mhm.
is an abomination of a translation. An
Okay.
abomination means a like part and parcel
Mhm.
stuck together, things that don't actually belong together.
Mhm.
Uh,
So,
translation.
my question for you, which translation of the Christian Bible do you believe is the closest match to the original Hebrew Torah?
Um, okay, so I think I'm confused only because what I'm hearing. Here's the thing with the Christian Bible,
Mhm.
you're actually already working from behind because the Christian Bible um, is a translation of a translation or another translation
Mhm.
of a translation.
And can you
So
describe
just
it?
yep,
Yeah.
yep. I know it's so complicated, and I had to think about it in my head. Okay,
Yeah.
so what's the first? Do you know what the first translation project was?
On it, I think, I mean, I know for the New Testament, it was like the Septuagint or something, right? But I
Well,
don't
so
know about for
that's
the
the Hebrew
Torah.
Bible. That's the first. Yes, exactly. The
Mhm.
Septuagint. You're absolutely right. The Septuagint
Okay.
is the first translation project of the Hebrew Bible. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, and I'm going to say this with peace and love, it's really not that great of a translation because
Mhm.
what's happening is they're trying to put these complex ideas. Right? Translations are not good to begin with. They don't
Mhm.
actually give you the cultural context, and they are making decisions based on their own context and their own knowledge. And
Mhm.
the Septuagint just didn't like these books were old and they did not have um, full access to uh, what we have. It's just
Mhm.
a fact. And they did their best with what they had, I guess is what I'm saying. And so the Septuagint misses a lot of idiomatic sort of things because it's responding. The Septuagint is a translation that is written at a time where every Jew after Alexander the Great was a Hellenist Jew. No matter what the Maccabees tell you, they also were Hellenist Jews. And I say that because it's in the same way that we all live in Christendom. Like if we don't acknowledge that we view the world through a Christian lens, we're lying to ourselves.
Yeah.
Because that's the first thing. Septuagint is a translation, and then you have the Latin Vulgate, which is the why am I blanking on the other one? Anybody help me out? Feel free. Why am I blank? I'll be honest. Like the Christian Bible is not my absolute expertise. Hold on, give me one. Yeah, give me 1 second while I look up. The Aleppo Codex.
That sounds correct. I think I've heard that term before.
Yeah, I don't know the order of them, but there was the Septuagint. There were the Vulgate. There was the King James is the next in this list, and then the Anglo-Saxon New Testament.
Yeah.
You know what? It was the Septuagint, ironically. Okay, so the Latin Vulgate and the Septuagint are the two things that I was looking for. My apologies. Point being that you have now a translation, and then the Latin Vulgate is using the Septuagint and also translating the Koine Greek into the Latin as well. So that's what's then dispersed. And then from this point, you already have several different versions. The Greek version, you'll have Coptic versions, you'll have Aramaic versions, you'll have right. It's already becoming a mass translation project, and I think that everybody can agree when we start moving from one language to the next, we are inserting words that require us to have a higher scale of knowledge to understand the original, and that essentially we're depending on somebody to tell me what it means.
Yeah.
And now I think people hold on to the King James Version because it sounds fancy, but most scholars understand that the King James Bible was actually outdated language, even at the time it was produced, because they also thought it sounded fancy. And so it's not that it's actually a good translation, but that it has staying power because it was endorsed by the King of England, who is essentially responsible for colonizing the world. I mean, the same King James is the same King James of Jamestown, right? Yeah. And so it's not like I'm not trying to look. I'll give a great example. The first verse of the Bible is poorly translated in the King James Bible. It does not understand the Hebrew grammar. It doesn't understand the Masoretic text, and frankly, it doesn't understand the theology that's actually being expressed in the first three verses. And so if it doesn't get the first three verses right, how much more so should we expect it to be inaccurate throughout the rest?
That's a good point. So I guess, well, I'm not a Catholic, first of all. I'm Protestant. So I don't primarily use the King James Version. It just happened to be the one Bible that I have in this room right now. But my favorite translation is the New American Standard Bible from 1995, which I spent about a year at a Protestant Bible college doing a little bit of study. And that was the translation that was used there. Do you know anything about that specific translation, or does anybody on the panel know about it and have anything to say about that one? Because I don't know enough about the New King James to actually really talk about it in depth and tell you whether or not I believe it's a proper translation. I mean, like you said, no matter what, from Hebrew to Greek to English to how many languages it's been translated, even if it was straight from Hebrew to English, there's still going to be some context and some, words and grammar that's going to be lost, because two completely different languages will never be able to be fully compatible with one another, right? So I think it's very context that has been lost. Obviously not lost completely, because the Hebrew Bible still exists, but I would argue that those things kind of definitely do happen, and I can't give you an example, but the examples are different. Like the importance of that, like someone on a personal level.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I think like people have a responsibility to, like, when people are translating, people have a responsibility to return to the original Hebrew. And look, I was almost a Spanish minor also in college, and I took a Spanish poetry class. And translating is really hard. Like you have to make constant choices as to whether to do word for word translation, or try and get the poetic intention. And I'm not a poet. You want me to translate Spanish poetry? A great amount